little Gary Woodland action. Great friend of the show. Phenomenal story. 18 months ago, he had surgery to remove brain tumor. He kind of mentioned it was pushing on the anxiety part of your brain and really just ruining his entire life. He was thinking when he's on airplanes, like the overhead compartments are going to collapse upon him, and just a nightmare of a situation. Went through brain surgery, has returned to the tour. We sat down with him at the Players Championship, but he's trying to make his way back out. He mentioned in the Netflix and on our show that like he really probably shouldn't have been playing, or at least he wasn't in a mindset to be playing. He had to take all kinds of meds to try to mitigate all the effects of, the operation and the situation that is going on with his brain. So that does not lend itself to being able to have the energy, the focus, all of it to be able to be out there competing at the highest level on the PGA Tour. Well, Gary Woodland has had a hell of a stretch here. I looked, he's got 4 top 22 finishes this year so far. And then just this past weekend, he birdied the 72nd hole to shoot a course record, tying 62 in the final round and finished second place. And then afterwards, I kind of had Alex Bush pull up this clip, but he gave a nice press conference kind of answer and is very sort of like perspective pie. So let's listen to Mr. Woodland here.
Your perspective on golf, both when you play it poorly and you play it as well as you did today. How is that different?
It's completely different. I'm thankful. I'm thankful to be out here. I am extremely blessed to play this game for a living, to travel the world, to be around the people that are out here that are supporting me, and my family's here. My kids, my son's in first grade, so they don't travel much anymore, and this is spring break for them. They were here, and I thought they were leaving, so to see them when I got done was what I'm fighting for, right? That's why I'm out here, to prove to them that you can overcome anything, and you just got to keep fighting. And I think I showed a little bit of that today.
That's a good dad right there. We just got done talking about like it's hard to imagine like how many people have to become parents, and like those kids got a good one right there with Gary Woodland and his wife. Like those are good people. That's what he strives for, is to just think about that. Like when you become to that level of fame and excellence, and you're like your game is at the highest level, and now the thing that drives him is to like prove to his children that he can do it, and like as a lesson to like never give up even if something happens. Like that's now his sole purpose in life. That is such an amazing way to look at the world now for him.
Like maybe the greatest story in sports right now. And I don't think it, like, I know it's gotten a lot of coverage, and I had a Netflix episode, and however many eyeballs are on a certain story doesn't ultimately matter, but this is a good one and it's way up there. And I think Gary even being alive is is so incredible. And then to go out there and shoot a 62, like, I know that's not the most important part, but the fact that he still is able to do that is like if he ever wins, or I think he said yesterday, like, this is the greatest second place can ever feel. Like, I'm not going to win the tournament, but I'm going to finish second, and I'm alive, and like I'm able to hang out with my kids and all those things. Like that's a gift in itself. But like it would have been a miracle if if he had just made it through, and then his PGA Tour career just sort of like maybe even fizzled out, and he wasn't playing as well, whatever. But this guy is shooting a 62 and finishing second in professional golf tournaments, not that far removed from having brain surgery. And that is, it's incredible. The whole thing is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it really reminds me of after, I think it was the British Open last year when in his Netflix episode, and, he came up a little short. He kind of was in, going into the weekend, he had a chance, and he's just talking with his wife, and he was like, I got to be honest with you, like, it just feels great to feel great. He was like, I know I'm usually bummed that like I didn't get it done, but like, dude, I have the energy to kind of go home and play with the kids and spend time talking with my wife and play professional golf throughout like the whole week. He was like, this just is like awesome to not feel. And he was so happy about that. And so it reminded me of that when he said that about like nobody's ever felt really better about a second place finish. And he's just the man, right? Like, dude, dapping us up when he came into the office after winning the U.S. Open. The vibes that we get when we saw him for the podcast, like we hadn't really seen him in years. And then we see him, he comes over and he's just chatting us up. He's got such a cool, calm demeanor to him. It shows in his tempo. That lag that he's got when he hits the ball is so aesthetically pleasing. So awesome week for Gary Woodland. Love that he's playing good golf again, and he's kind of must listen in all of his media answers at this point.
He is a cool guy too. Like, I know golf really struggles with finding cool guys, and they're not great at amplifying them when they have them. But Gary Woodland's a guy when you meet him, like he was a really good college basketball player, right? Or at some point he was.
Yeah.
You could just tell he's got that swagger of like when you read Gary Woodland, you read that name on a leaderboard, you're like, oh, I know about that guy. But you don't when you get to meet him, he's cool. He's got that walk, he's got that talk. He's just, he's a cool guy. I really, really, really like Gary Woodland.